Right before I came there, I wrote to the Rebbe about the Kinus Torah. I put it in this Torah, some oil, and I wrote to the Rebbe what I'm going to talk about is how the Gula, this Indian, and the Rebbe writes, Mom, the tell me of how the Likris, Baruch Shematzim, finished this case Chalishi, case of Gamken and Ogel Bezerra, the Fraction Circle Hoidis, Aladas, this Chal, the Gula, Hulu, the Hebich, Sagdin, Ashofanoru, Vachrelim, Lady Yisrael, Vapeskin, Shemiskabel, Bokol Yisrael. Exactly what I'm going to talk about is what I opened up. So it's Zichem Stark Machazik. Now, anyone, this is one letter, but anyone that's used to the Rebbe's Torah, the Rebbe mentions in the hundreds, tons and tens and times, the Rebbe emphasizes that the Rebbe uses a certain language, and many times you can even see that the Rebbe, like when he printed the Sefer before they sent it to print, the Rebbe added in the Guf Ksabit Kodesh more than once. It's printed in the Sefer. The Rebbe adds in this emphasis. The Rebbe always emphasizes, number one, we all know, Gula Amitis V'Hashlema, Alidei Mashiach Tzidkenu. Why is the Rebbe always saying this? First of all, Gula Amitis V'Hashlema, Alidei Mashiach Tzidkenu, saying that the Gula is the Emes Gula, the Shlema is Gula, and it's through Mashiach. Also, the Rebbe says many times, this is every single sikh, but many times, especially in the earlier years, the Rebbe would say that the Rambam Paskins, Psakin, border, that the Gula is going to come through Melech HaMashiach. And Melech HaMashiach is going to bring the Ketzah Galus, the end of the Galus, und der noch die Schalte der Gula, und der noch the Gula mit this Vashleima. And that's alles durch Mashiach. First, Mashiach is going to bring the Ketzah Galus, the end of the Galus. After that, he's going to bring the beginning of the Gula, and after that, the Gula Amitis Vashleima. And all of this is through Mashiach. This is something that the Rebbe emphasized again and again many times. Now, I remember when I was a Bocher in Alitaina Zal, so this is a Sprach, Meragler, B'Pamaya Kadisha, the Rebbe uses these words, Ketzah Golus, Eschaldi de Gula, Gula Amitis Vashleima. What do these words mean? The Rebbe says it a million times. Literally, tons and they go to such a light how many times I ever use these words. Tons and tons of times. What does the word Ketzah Golus mean? What does it mean, Ketzah Golus? The end of Golus. What is that exactly? The Rambam writes that there's a certain order. There's a king from the house of David gets up, and he himself is under about Torah, the mitzvahs, and he's Yaakov calling, he's going to force over years to go in the ways of Torah and mitzvahs. He's going to fight the wars of the Eibishter. He's Machazkes Shemashiach. If he wins over all the guys, if he's Matzliach to make me to go in the ways of the mitzvahs, but Paul, not only that he's trying, if he's Taka Matzliach and he wins the wars that he's fighting, and then he builds the base of Mikdash, takes out that it's so he's Mashiach Bavadai. Where in this order is Ketzah Galus, the end of the Galus? This literal meaning Ketzah Galus is the end of the Galus. It's Chal to the Geula, the beginning of the Geula. Kula Amitis Vashleim, the true and ultimate redemption. The question is when? When, which part? When Yamid Melech, then that's Ketzah Galus. When Yaakov called Yisrael, that means Ketzah Galus. Yilcham Chavis Hashem, that's Ketzah Galus. When he's going to be in Netzayach, it's Ketzah Galus. There's a bit in Beis Hamikdash, Ketzah Galus. It's Kibbutz Yisrael, Ketzah Galus. When is Ketzah Galus? So Yosef Kader, which is Nishkein Kleine Yingel, the Rebbe said is going to be part of the Sanhedrin and the Golden. There's a video by Galus. He holds. There's a video. He goes by the Rebbe, gives the Rebbe Kudris and Hilchas Shabbos. So the Rebbe tells him, calls him back. There's like nothing to do with what he gave the Rebbe. So he gives the Rebbe Kudris and Hilchas Beis Hamikdash. The Rebbe says, "Bald, David Merkader sein al Pia de Ia. You can just nicht tun. He's enough to great to enter in the shadows." It's on video. And then he's like, he doesn't know what hit him. He comes back to the Rebbe. The Rebbe tells him again. It's a Merkader Merkader. So he holds Yamid Melech and David is Ketzah Galus. Okay, where did he pick it up? I don't know. He says, Yamid Melech, that means the Galus is over. Ketzah Galus is Yamid Melech and David doesn't. And I remember that Shmuel Chaim Bluming, this is when I was in Alitaina, he tells me, Ketzah Galus is one, but Nitzach call the Umish Sliva. Because it says, Abraham El Hazir relates to Mashiach, and the Shibud Malchus is Movad. So once Shibud Malchus finishes, that means the Galus is finished. Once it's Chal to the Gula, when Mashiach builds the Beis HaMikdash, and once Gula Amitis Vashleima, we're all needing to come and buy the Kibbutz Galus. This is what the Rav Shmuel Chaim Bluming told me. I went to Rav Shalom Charitonov. He told me, Ketzah Galus is is also by Benitzach Kol Omish Smivav, when Mashiach is Banatzach over all the Goyim, Siam Chayres, and this, that's Ketzah Galus, but it's not yet the Schal of the Gula. Then, when he builds the Meisam Mikdash, I think that's a Schal of the Gula and build it like Rabbi Gula. The comments in the Sefer, the Shiva Shurim, and yes, the Shiva Shurim on Baba Basra, I think. Baba Mitzvah. The base was Baba Basra, then the next is Baba Mitzvah. Oh no, Aleph, right, the Baba Mitzvah. Then an Aleph, and the Rebbe said to him, so he gave Shurim on Hilchos Malachim. He's Eigene, Yudin. So there he brings, when's Ketzah Galus, it's Chal of Gula, so he says, also, the Nitzach Kol Omish Smivav, he says that, I don't know, he makes different, each guy basically is saying something else. Now, what's Oira Pele, that this, regarding this Rambam, when is Ketzah Galus and when is it's Chal of the Geula, that ever emphasizes many times, that is a Psag, Din, Borur, Mefurish in the Rambam. The Rebbe says this line again and again and again, and you can see the Kitzvah Yad. The Rebbe writes, it's a Psag Din, Borur, Umefurish. It's a clear Psag Din. There's no way this Rebbe is going to tell you like this, and this Mashmir is going to tell you like that, and the Rebbe is going to say that the Rebbe changed his mind 15 times. And the Rebbe says it's a Psag Din, Borur in the Rambam. Now we open up a Rambam. So now this, just as I just explained, why do they hold their shit a little bit more? The Rebbe says in Chelik Yud, I don't read 1,000 Sfarim over here because you have everything, it's like I have all the quotes over here in the Sefer. But in Chelik Yud, page 114, the Rebbe says like this. The Rebbe says, Mashiach, Peace Mashiach Tzidkenu, Shilcham Chamis Hashem, Yinatzayach, Yibna Meis Hamidish Ben Koimoi, V'achar Kach Yikabetz Nitche Yisrael, Ketzah Galus. Where does the Rebbe stick the words in Ketzah Galus? Not by Yamid Melech, like Rabbi Keller says, not by Yinatzayach, like Rabbi Blumik and the Shom Chaletonim says. The Rebbe says after the Yikabetz Nitche Yisrael, the Rebbe sticks to the words Ketzah Galus. What is Ketzah Galus? Noch the Yikabetz Nitche Yisrael. That's Ketzah Galus. In Chelik Chof, Mitzvah Shabbos Kodesh Marshus Bereishis Tov Shema Ches. This is page. You see, it's in Chelik Chof, 461 in the Yisofis. There the Rebbe says, 272, that the Schal to the Geula is v'yikabetz nitche Yisrael. When is the Schal to the Geula? By Yikabetz nitche Yisrael. So there the Rebbe said that Ketzah Galus is not v'yikabetz nitche Yisrael, it's Ketzah Galus. Here the Rebbe says that, wait a second, if it's Schal to the Geula, if Ketzah Galus is after the Yikabetz nitche Yisrael, so when's it's Schal to the Geula, when's Geula on this Hashem? Okay, we'll hold this question on the side for a second. In this Chelik Chof, the Rebbe says, when is that is Schal to the Geula is by the Yikabetz nitche Yisrael. So what are you going to say? It's a Ketzah Galus is before. That's been in Beis Hamikdash. Let's say this is the way some people want to say. Because if the Rebbe says over here that it's Schal to the Geula is the Yikabetz nitche Yisrael, so Ketzah Galus is what comes before, which has been in Beis Hamikdash. Now the big heavy duty question is in Chelik Hey, because it's page 149. I'm not walking with the sitters, but this is a very, very famous quote. Any time in the Rebbe's Torah, anywhere, when it mentions this Indian, it's always Mitzayah. Today, look at the sitters Chelik Hey, on 149 of Bahar and Shom. So there's they made like a liquid of everything the Rebbe spoke of all the. This is something the Rebbe spoke many, many times. In Bilti Muga, Fabrengens, one Fabrengen, the Rebbe, I made once a list, I think over 20 to UK. The Rebbe quetched out of the Rambam any way possible to show how the Mizrahi movement is Heper Chalacha. Any diuk the Rebbe could find, it doesn't fit like this, it doesn't fit like that. It has to be through Mashiach. You have to be said Yaakov Kol Yisrael, and Judah needed to do Tshuva. So until there's no Yaakov Kol Yisrael, so forget about his Chal, forget about everything. The Rebbe would be Medayik whenever he was able to be Medayik out of this Rambam. So, but some not always did the Rebbe say everything in one shot, one combination. This one. So we live in Chelik Hey. They took a letter of the Rebbe to Rabbi Zevin and a couple of other things, and they made one big order. And this is so whatever the Rebbe is told you, the Rebbe mentions it, they just quote to there. But after that, there's much more. Everything else that Rebbe said is all in one place. Now, basically, it's actually the hardest sin from the whole Sefer. I sat in it for the Mamash and put upon Chadoshim to take every single letter that Rebbe about this and it came out with the Baal Peh. Every single thing and to put everything together to make one opinion of everything that Rebbe said against their movement, whatever, to have it in one shot without needing to read the same thing again and again. But so you have in Chelik Hay is the famous place where the Rebbe talks about it, and then in the Pnim the Rebbe uses it is a shtickle a shvere shtickle, which needs and even after this I don't know if they can accept my beer, but I spoke to the Björn Khan about this actually. I remember he was first scared, like in the show. He thought I'm going to talk about that it's hard to do here already, or something like that. The Björn was first scared. I'm coming to convince him. So I told him, he right away started telling me, but he put him in the secret Galus. And like this, I'm like, I'm not cholik. I'm not. That's not what I'm coming to say. I'm just trying to give my husband because he wrote Chelik Hay, so maybe I wanted to be bombarded with him. I could Nachman. And Rishon had a ton of it, and later he told me he's going to battle everything he told me. He said the Alton sich auf die Sorge, he's bottled in the bottle, and he's marked all the way here. Also Nachman Shapiro. I spoke to anybody that wanted to have a broid. They said they managed they were holiday, and whatever they said, and they told me the Makabel is. And the only one that still doesn't want the Makabel is Rabbi Keller. Okay, so now we're going to read the Rebbe's Lashon over here. The Rebbe says like this, und das ist doch euch achare zu wies Mashiach Tzidkeinu, was la'achere bi Osei und durch ihm wird sein Ketzar Galus. Und danach, wie der Rebbe sagt, das klar in Deibuk, was sich anheben, ist Chalde der Gula. Und danach, die Gula mit Yisrael Shleima. Und danach, und durch Mashiach, und dafür Kibbutz Galus. Kein Mamish, my Galus is that. Over here, what does the Rebbe say? It is Mashiach, it's going to be Ketzar Galus. And after that, it's going to be the Chalde der Gula. After that, the Gula mit Yisrael Shleima. Und danach, and durch Mashiach and after Kibbutz Galus. So you guys don't have the Sikha inside to see, but if you see inside, there is the Rebbe sticks in a comma in one place, some place the Rebbe doesn't stick a comma. The Rebbe says, the Rebbe makes a stop, and the Rebbe says, the Noch, and durch Mashiach and after Kibbutz Galus. But the way Rabbi Keller learns, the way he says, the Rebbe says, Ketzar Galus, it's called the Geula, Geula Mitzvah Shlema, and after that is Kibbutz Galus. So he wants to read the Rambam, read this, Kibbutz Galus is in the end. Before that is the Gula Mitzvah Shleima, which is been in Beis HaMikdash. Es Chalte the Gula is Nitzach Kol Homitz Shesviva. What's Ketzar Galus, Yamid Melech Levizdom. He takes this Sikha, and he says, B'mash v'ta the Rambam K'may Shahu. The Rebbe, the way it says over here, is Mamish ala Seder, and the Rebbe is not, you have to read it like this. So Yamid Melech Levizdom is Ketzar Galus. Nitzach Kol Mishesviva, it says Chalte the Gula, been in Beis HaMikdash, is Gula Mitzvah Shleima, and then is Kibbutz Galus. This is the way he learns. Which I remember I sat on this, like I didn't have any specific opinion, but I was like, this is a long time, a sach getracht on this Rambam. My mom is a lot. The first question is over here. What does it mean? The Rebbe says in Chelik Yud that Ketzar Galus is after the Akados Yisrael. The first shlab over here, Ketzar Galus, is only after Kibbutz Galus. Until Kibbutz Galus, you're in Galus. And this is something, there's a letter that Rebbe, a very sharp letter, Tavshin Chav Ches, after the 6-day war, a very sharp letter that Rebbe writes, even if there's a Beis HaMikdash built, and either I'll be marketed Korbanis, the Rebbe says it's a psag, din, boru, mefurish, the Rambam, that it's Galus. Till the Akados Yisrael, only then is Ketzar Galus. You have a Beis HaMikdash, the Rebbe is Ramaydish, you have a Beis HaMikdash, and there's already going to be many in the Eretz Yisrael, it's still Galus. Till, because the Rambam doesn't say, Reis Mashiach Bavadei, only after the Akados Yisrael. This is how the Rebbe says in the letter of Chelik Chav, Tavshin Chav Ches. So here, what's the Rebbe saying? You have Ketzar Galus, it's Chalte the Gula, Gula Mitzvah Shleima. So you have Gula Mitzvah Shleima. So what do you need to be Akados Yisrael for? You already have the Gula Mitzvah Shleima. What do you need Kibbutz Galus? Stay where you are. Well, why is Mashiach? He's doing it for nothing. He's doing it for nothing. You already have Galus is over. You have a Schal the Gula. You have Gula Mitzvah Shlema. The way that ever learns in many places. What does every Gula Mitzvah Shlema? We're going to explain it based on Hashem. And all of this is without Kibbutz Galus. How are we meant to learn the Sikha in such a way? All of this is without Kibbutz Galus. The Rebbe says in other places, first of all, so why is he being Mekabel Sikha Yisrael? And what is Shaila?
All Yidden Zolom Lashach to the Gulas.
No, but what is the Exim Kibbutz? How can the Rebbe say? And also, this is the Rebbe says this is a Psak in border that I'm Maklot, that I'm this is Hebech Pashtus Aram to say such a thing. If you open up a Rambam, it's bullshit. And the Rebbe says it. The Rebbe says it in other places. Like here itself, the Rebbe says it. The other says it's Klot and Psak Din. Then you don't have Kates at all. It's only after the Kabbalah Tzidchi. So open up the Rambam. The Rebbe says it's not Mishem B'Babel. Only after the Kabbalah Tzidchi Yisrael. How can you say you have the Gula or Hamid Yisrael Shleimu? And even more than that, the Rebbe says, what's this deal called Hamid Yisrael Shleimu? The Rebbe says, Hamid Yisrael Shleimu is coming to say that every single Yid is going to already be part of the Gula. Every Yid is already going to be in Eretz Yisrael. Every Yid is going to be part of it. So why is it being Makabel Tzidchi Yisrael if you already have the Gula Hamid Yisrael Shleimu? And also, what does it mean? It doesn't make sense in Pashtus Rambam. And what now? The question main. Okay, so now we're going to go after all the questions. Hopefully, I've explained enough. The question is, what to understand is what is Galus, and how do you magid Galus? What's Galus to say Ketzar Galus? How are you magid Geula to say this Chal the Geula? What is Galus? The first pshat of the halacha of the word Galus, the Rambam says in the Shuvah Perek Tes, in the famous where the Rambam talks about in halacha Aleph over there are two halachas. There the Rambam says this, that the Torah was Maftiachas and Soiva Vedov and Mochamo Vesholim. He says he goes from both extremes and he says Yeshira Sa'aretz V'Golus. This is in the Rambam. How is the Rambam minded? What's first the pshat of the word Golus? When someone is not in his place, that's called Golus. When someone is thrown, the meaning of the word Golus, the Playbook when it was sent to Galus. So Galus means when someone's not in his place, that's Galus. What's called Kates are Galus? Called Kates, Moshe Seifru, Rashi says, when is the end of the Galus? When this matzav that you're not in your place finishes, that's called Kates are Galus. Which means after you go back to your place, that means Kates are Galus. So when the Rebbe says in Chelik Yud that after the Yekabel Tzidchi Yisrael, Kates are Galus, and the Rebbe says it's in other places also, is because Yidden are going back to Eretz Yisrael. The matzav of Galus is Galus means you're not in your place. So when this matzav of not being in your place finishes, you go back to Eretz Yisrael, that's Ketzar Galus. That's according to the first shot of Galus, like the Noelim Hazar. Now the Rambam is a Sefer Chosi, Al-Bochik, and this the Malach HaMashiach is going to take into Eretz Yisrael. It's not only mitzad, like it says in Soita Moshe Rabbeinu. Why do you want to go to Eretz Yisrael? Tough Kuf Tezvon. He wanted to do the mitzvahs of Kluz Moritz. The Rebbe says, why does the Rambam say Mashiach is the Yekabel Tzidchi Yisrael? It's in order to bring the V'osim Shemit and V'yovel. It's because called Yisrael now. Therefore, you can do Shemit and V'yovel. So, why is Malacham? What does Galus al pi halacha is that you cannot do Torah mitzvahs? This the Rebbe says it clearly in the Sichos Chelik Ches. The Rebbe makes it very. The Rebbe says, "Was dos is in our Galus? What is Galus?" The Rebbe says al pi halacha that you cannot do Torah mitzvahs. That's Galus. So when is Ketzar Galus? When does the Galus finish? When this matzav that you cannot do Taryag mitzvahs finish, that means the Galus is over. And under the Veiter, when Malach HaMashiach is going to build the Beis HaMikdash, and it's going to be Mekabel Tzidchi Yisrael, and he's able to bring korbanos, V'osim Shemit and V'yovel. Therefore, that's Ketzar Galus. The matzav of Galus finishes. The matzav that you cannot do Torah mitzvahs finishes. That's the end of Galus. So Ketzar Galus is after the Mekabel Tzidchi Yisrael. Oy Bazori, what's his chal to the Geula? What's his chal to the Geula? If you're saying that only after Kibbutz Tzidchi Yisrael is Ketzar Galus, what does it mean? It's chal to the Geula. Then the Rebbe adds Geula Amid Yisrael. What's the difference? And especially that the Rebbe adds in the words under noch, which from this people have this mashmos that it means it's something else. It's a separate shlah. The answer is like this: in all the Maria's Daiti, in all of these sikhs, it's very clearly that the Rebbe is coming to be showing a specific shit over here. The Rebbe is not just coming here to give a beer on the Rambam. The Rebbe is befeirish coming to be oiker a specific shitter. Al der gezegd, when I was looking on the set, I was looking, I'm thinking that what other Rabbeim also spoke about Hilchos Melech HaMashiach. The only thing I found was the famous letter from the Rebbe Rashab, but Ben David Ba, and over there he brings the Rambam. And why is he bringing the Rambam? To be Mavarid Pasar Chiddush in the Rambam? No, to be Shoylel, the Shittas of the Tziyoyin, the Mizrach, whatever. So all of the places where the Rebbe brings this Rambam and it says, the Rebbe is not coming to, the Rebbe is coming to be Shoylel their Shitta. What is their shitta? Their shitta is that okay, they didn't word Galus. Now we're gonna have the ischalta the Geula. The Geula is gonna start, right? That's another Nakud. But they say we're gonna have just the beginning of the Geula. Who says Machlal that there's a musig of ischalta the Geula? There is such a thing as the Chomis Ram ischalta the Geula, but in Halacha. They were saying, they were on the Chaft Alosh Chazal, and they're saying, we're having the beginning of the Gula. They say, their shit is like this. You are going to Eretz Yisrael, this is the beginning of the Gula. This is just the beginning. Later on, and the Rebbe quotes it in letters. How do I know? I never did read either Maloney, but the Rebbe brings the Rebbe brings down what they say, and the Rebbe is showing them. So they say that we already have the Ischal to the Gula, and later on, Melech HaMashiach is going to come. And even in this nusach that they say by the order, you can hear. I happen to be in shows that they say it. They say Reish Tzimcha is going to say it, and they're not shoyla that Melech HaMashiach is going to come and be mamshich. But they say we have a schal to the Gula, and later Melech HaMashiach is going to come and finish the Galus completely, and he's going to bring the Gula Shleima later on. But what's the order? Eschal to the Gula is number one. Number two is Ketzar Galus. The Galus is going to finish. And this is what the Rebbe is coming to be shoyling. The Rebbe says first is going to be Ketzar Galus, and the Noch is Eschal to the Gula. The Noch of the Rebbe over here is not coming to say that Eschal to the Gula is some separate thing. No, the Noch is coming to say it's not before. The Gula doesn't start when you're still in Galus. It's not Oyer B'Choshech B'Shamshim Ben Muvya. The whole part of Kima is that they see the sun is starting to rise. So you have Galus HaShachar, then Avois HaShachar, then Mishayakir, then Neitz HaChama, then Oyer HaYoy. So just like it's dark and light, right? It's slowly. So they say, so this is what it says in Yerushalmi, the beginning of Zeres Brothers, Kachi Gulas and Shalom Yisrael, Kima Kayalas HaShachar. Slowly. What's the word? You have some light, you have some darkness, you have a whole Shalom at the same time, and that's a Schal to the Gula. The Rebbe emphasizes, what does the Rambam say? The Rambam says he's not Mashiach Bavada until the Yekabetz Tzidchei Yisrael. He can build a Beis HaMikdash, it's Choshech, Kopfel U'Mechutu. If there's no, if you're not a have Shleimus HaTeim HaMitzvahs, it's Galus. Only after the Yekabetz Tzidchei Yisrael, you have Shleimus HaTeim HaMitzvahs, that's when the Galus finishes. And then you have this Schal to the Gula. Now, a Schal to the Gula is the same exact thing, but the Rebbe says in Chel Chof, he said before that Kibbutz Galus is a Schal to the Gula. It's not a stira, but the Rebbe at the same time just say the Noch. The Rebbe brings it says Kates, you have Kates HaYomim and Kates HaYomin. You can talk about in each thing, you can say when you light Shabbos candles, so you're finishing the Yemais HaChoil, at the same time you're starting Shabbos. It's one Pa'ula that makes two things happen at the same time. Melech HaMashiach is Mekabetz Tzidchei Yisrael after being Beis HaMikdash. So you have at the same time the Siyum HaGalus, you have the Ketzar Galus. The Galus is over at the same time. This is how the Gula starts. Because you have Shleimus HaTeim HaMitzvahs, and this is the same one. What is Gula? Gula is Shleimus HaTeim HaMitzvahs. When you have a Beis HaMikdash, and you have Kavanos, and you have all the Divinity, so that Shemit V'Yoyvel, this is Gula, and that's how the Gula. This is what the Rebbe says. So what's the difference between the Schal to the Gula and Gula Ha'amitis V'Ashleima? So here we explain the Noch. Now what is now? Gula means that you can do all the Torah mitzvahs. That's Gula. The Rebbe says in more than one place, the diuk of ha'amitis v'hashlema is that it's going to be for every single yid. That's the Husafa of ha'amitis v'hashlema. There wasn't like this Maitis Mitzrayim, or it's not called Gula Shleim, because it wasn't for every single yid. This Gula is for every single yid. Eschalta, the Gula means the beginning of the time. First of all, the Rebbe says, Eschalta means the Haskol of the Inyan itself. The way the other people try to say it. It says Eschalta, the Gula, it's not the Gula itself. So it's only Achana, it can be Binin Beis HaMikdash. But the Rebbe Mefedish learns that the word Haschola means the Haschola of the thing itself. It's not Reishis, the difference between Rosh Hashanah and Tchilas Hashanah. The Rebbe says Rishon and Yikara. Rishon can be separated from the thing itself. Haschola is the Onay from the Zachalei. Eschalta the Geula is not a Hachana for the Geula. Means when the first day of the Geula, when it starts to happen, that's called Eschalta the Geula. But also, what's the difference between Eschalta the Geula and Geula Shleima? So, like we started saying, Geula means you can do all the Torah and mitzvahs. That's Geula. For that, you do not need to have every single Yid in Eretz Yisrael. In my solution, if a guy wanted to go out of Eretz Yisrael for 5 minutes to go to a chasna or something, whatever, for Lisa Isha or whatever, when it says you can leave Eretz Yisrael, so it was Mavatal, the whole Shemitah of Yovel from the whole Eretz Yisrael. No, you need to have a Ruba Ishal Kol Shevet Reshevet. If you have 51% of the Yid in Eretz Yisrael, and you can have another 49% of Yid not in Eretz Yisrael, you can do all the Torah and mitzvahs. You can have a Ischal to the Geula without having the Geula Shleima for every single Yid. Not every single Yid is going to be part of the Geula, but you can have Ischal to the Geula, and it's after Kibbutz Galus. It's not every single Yid. Once they show of Geula ha'amitis, the Hashleima, that it's going to be for every single Yid. And this is what the Rebbe clearly says. Once the words ha'amitis v'hashleima, it's coming to add every single Yid. And you can see, Zoy's Chanukah Tov Shemam and Ches, when the Rebbe was speaking, the Rebbe says, all these Makkaitis are printed over here, if you want, you can see, the Rebbe says that when the brain is called the Gula, the Nach, the Gula, Shleima, by Yedin, Yid, on all Yid. What's Gula, it is Vashleima, adding that it's going to be for every single Yid. So that's the difference between, it's called the Gula and the Gula, Ha'amitis v'hashleima. Now, here in Chelik Hey, you guys can look inside yourself, and you can see when the Rebbe is saying all the Shlavim, the Rebbe says it in one shot without any psik, without any comment. The Rebbe says, you know, the Ketz Galus, on the Nacht is Chal to the Gula, the Nacht the Gula mitzvah Shleima. And there's a psik between Ketz Galus and the Chal to the Gula. The Rebbe doesn't put a line between the Ketz Galus and Chal to the Gula. There's no line between Chal to the Gula and Gula mitzvah Shleima. There's also no line. That's in one shot. Then the Rebbe puts a psik, and then the Rebbe says, on the Noch, und durch Mashiach in nach der Kibbutz Galus. So Lanias deity, and Rabbi Shapiro was masking, and I showed it to the B'yoyu, so it was scared, but at the end of the day he said it's Kenzai, like he wasn't saying it's Mufrach the way I'm doing it, that this last piece is Choyzel in Rishon. The Rebbe Mefedish makes it have, so the Rebbe doesn't make it one after another, even though it says they're not, but the Rebbe makes it stop. And like we said before, the Rebbe was shoylo them in many different ways, many different connections, and you can't say Zachar Rishon and B'dibur Echad in one shot. You have to say this, and then you're going to say another shlila, and another shlila, another shlila. It doesn't mean that only after the first shlila you have the second shlila. When it's a certain way of talking and writing something, so you can't say everything in one shot. So you say this and this, but it doesn't mean that only after number one takes place, then number two can take place. So the Rebbe's shoylo, the Mizrahi movement, mitzad, two, more than two, but let's make it, let's say split it into two. There is Gedorim Ilchosiyim, there's a seder of halachic statuses, which means that, for example, Ketzar Galus is not a Meisim. We said that Ketzar Galus is my Kibbutz Galus. But it's not the Kibbutz Galus. Why? Let's say that Rambam would chop on the opinion that Kibbutz Galus happens before Binyan Beis Hamikdash. The Rambam says Kibbutz Galus is after Binyan Beis Hamikdash. But let's say the Rambam would say first there's Kibbutz Galus, and after that's Binyan Beis Hamikdash. When would be Ketzar Galus? Not through Kibbutz Galus, but through Binyan Beis Hamikdash. When would be Eschal the Gula through Binyan Beis Hamikdash? Why? Because that's the last of Maisa, that's the Makam of Patish, that's taking away the matzav that you cannot do Torah and mitzvahs, and that's bringing in the matzav that you could do Torah and mitzvahs. What's Galus? Not. So yeah, the meaning of Galus means you're not in the base, but al pi Allah, what does Galus mean? You cannot do Torah and mitzvahs. So when would be the case of Galus? When would be the schal of the bull after being Beis Hamikdash? The Rambam, the Poel says the Seder is bringing Beis Hamikdash, and after that Kibbutz Galus. So what's an assigned the matzav that you cannot do Torah and mitzvahs? Kibbutz Galus. So therefore, Kibbutz Galus is case of Galus of the schal of the bull. So that's mitzad the Gdorim Milchos. And al pi Allah, you need Galus to finish before the Gula starts. That's one thing that the Rebbe was struggling with. There's another Indian in the Meisim that Melech HaMashiach does. In the Seder that the Rambam says, first comes Bin in Beis Hamikdash, and after that it's Kibbutz Galus. That's another deal. Or the Rebbe sometimes went even earlier, the Rebbe said you need Yaakov Kol Yisrael first, and you need the Mitzvah Cholomis first, and then only after that, but most letters, especially the later years, the Rebbe just said, Kibbutz Galus is after Bin in Beis Hamikdash. That's the Seder that Rambam says. That's it. The Rebbe doesn't bring the beginning of the Rambam. But sometimes the Rambam does. But this is not talking about what happens for Kates and Galus and Schal. The Rambam doesn't use the words anyway, Kates and Galus and Schal. The only words that the Rambam does use, but again, Gather of Allah is Arezah Mashiach Mavadai. But there's a ma'asim that he does. There's the actions that he does, and then there's the Gdorim Milchosim. So here, the Rebbe is saying two things. First, the Rebbe says, Mitzad, the Gdorim Milchosim. What's the Seder of the Gdorim Milchosim? That's Ketzah Galus, Yischal, the Gula, Beloved, Yitzvah, Shlema. That's the order Mitzad that. Then there's another Indian, that's Mitzad the Ma'asim that Melech HaMashiach does, which is not after the Gdorim Milchosim happens the Ma'asim. There, the Rebbe talks about the Ma'asim, on the Roch, the Mashiach, and Davke, Kibbutz Galus. Like the Rebbe says, the Ma'asim of Kibbutz Galus has to be Basov after Binyan Beis Hamikdash. Nothing to do with Yischal to the good Ketzah Galus, Yischal to the good Beloved, Yitzvah, Shlema. Verstehst? Huh? Huh? There's Ma'asim, and then there is Gdorim Milchosim. So first the Rebbe says, it's on the Gdorim Milchosim. It doesn't make sense. I don't know, I was sitting and I was trying to squeeze Pilim Akuba Damachli. There's no way to say, when he has 90, and it doesn't fit with Pashtas HaRambam, and here the Rebbe says, Kvar Pshat in the Rambam, that say, and the Rebbe says in tons of other places, people say the Rebbe was Midrash's Chalukis. Midrash's, you can say Midrash's Chalukis, but not enough in Al-Bocha, and especially the Rebbe says this is a Psag, being border of Mefurish in the Rambam. And how are you going to fit it in the Rambam? The Rambam says that it's Galus till after the Yikamitz Yitzchak Yisrael. So you're going to tell me that Kibbutz Galus is happening after Gula Mitzvah Shlema? The Rebbe says you can't have Ketzah Galus without Kibbutz Galus. The Galus doesn't finish if you are not in Eretz Yisrael. How can you tell me that only after the Gula Mitzvah? So I'm saying it's two separate things. And the Rebbe puts a psik. And the Rebbe adds in Durch Mashiach and Davke. The Rebbe said before Durch Mashiach. Why is the Rebbe saying it again? There's one thing the Rebbe is saying, Mitzad the Gdorim Milchosim, Mitzad Allah, the Galus has to finish through Mashiach, and Mashiach has to bring the Schal of the Gula. Mashiach has to bring the Gula Mitzvah. Well, that's one thing. Mitzad the Halachic Gdorim. What's Ketzah Galus? It depends. According to the Rambam, the Seder is like this. The Seder is different. Here you're talking about the Geder Milchosim. Then the second thing is, it's how the Seder of the Ba'ulis that Rambam says that Kibbutz Galus happens all the way in the end. Until that, and they're saying that Kibbutz Galus happens all the way in the beginning, without another HaMashiach. So the Rebbe says, they're not. All the way, the Rebbe writes in many letters, Lebasoy. Kibbutz Galus is all the way in the end, und durch Mashiach in the after. The Maisa of Kibbutz Galus happens in the end through Malach HaMashiach. Verstandig.
Is there a sheet that says that Eretz Yisrael is going to expand to the whole world?
Okay, but that's not in Allah over here. First, the Pshat Api Allah. First, we can say that to the different kufa or whatever. The Rambam is talking about first the dry Allah. Kibbutz Galus means you're bringing in violence. Tavshin, that's a whole separate thing. And the Rebbe himself emphasized Shabbos Parashas Vayera Tavshin and Aleph. And we said either I don't tell Eretz Yisrael. The Rebbe says this is a Hachana and an aim of Kibbutz Galus. And the Rebbe says, man darf nicht schönel sein am Fühlen. Also das ist nicht keine Schalte der Gula, das ist nicht auf Fühlen, eine Schalte der Schalte der Gula. Die Geräte sind mehrere Mal, the Rebbe says, come to me by Richo, David Apostle. The Rebbe said, I don't even need to say that it's, and Minor Amuzger, so in Vayakim and Beis, the Rebbe said, Kibbutz Galus started. Kibbutz Galus started. For Pashtus. That's the Rebbe's washing. Is the Rebbe bit Amol changing his mind? Is the Rebbe saying that we have been mentioned today? So the Rebbe said in Kinus Beis Rabbeinu Shabbat Bavel that one Mikdash bin Koimo, why is the Rebbe saying bin Koimo? First the Rebbe says about Derech, all the Yishleim al Derech HaRemez, and then the Rebbe writes on the Pashtus al Pia Alocha. The Rebbe asks, why is the Rebbe saying Mashiach bin Mikdash bin Koimo? So he says the Remez is the Malach HaMashiach is going to make the Shabbat bin Koimo for Malach HaMashiach. And then the Rebbe emphasizes it's a Remez. And the Pashtus Halacha means that one of the Siman of Mashiach is that he's going to know to be Machaber exactly where's the market on Mikdash. So they skip out the Rebbe says that it's a Remez and it's not Pashtus Halacha. They say you have one of Mikdash bin Koimo, it's 770, so you can have Kibbutz Galus in Vayakhel and Beis. So it's a Chuchah Tmula. Because the Rebbe clearly says this is not Pashtus Harambam. And what is the Rebbe saying in Vayakhel and Beis that Kibbutz Galus started? So about Pashtus, yeah, Kibbutz Galus can start, but it has nothing to do with what the Rambam says. The Rebbe brings when they get a Bias Eliyahu, for example, that there's a Machloikis, when Eliyahu is going to come. Is he going to come before Melcham is going to do 1 week, or after Melcham is going to do 1 week, right before Bias Mashiach? There's 2 shitties that Rambam brings. The Rebbe asks, how can you say there's a Machloikis in the Mitzvahs? When is Eliyahu going to come? Before the war or after the war, right before Bias Mashiach? The Rebbe says there's no Machloikis in the Mitzvahs. The Mitzvahs, Ha'olam Eliyahu is going to come before Melcham is going to do 1 week and after. The whole Machloikis is on Pi Halacha. What do you consider? We're not talking about a Mitzvah. So Eliyahu is going to come. We're talking about Pi Halacha. According to the first opinion, what's considered Bias Eliyahu that's connected to the Gula when it comes before the war. According to the second opinion, he says that's nothing to do with Eliyahu from before. That's Eliyahu from the Tazmana Tanakh. There's nothing to do with Eliyahu. This is niche that Eliyahu Navi that for someone said told me. The Rambam says Mashiach is going to. What does it mean Mashiach is going to come? He's gonna walk in the room. He's gonna appear. He's always there. He's born, and he's talking about Torah of Yaakov calling himself. I say it's Bias of Mashiach. The person Malach HaMashiach is in front of your face, and you say Mashiach is nicht da. Mashiach is not nicht gekommen. Well, what do you say? He's right in front of your face. What does that mean? Mashiach is gekommen. Mashiach is nicht gekommen. They're talking about a gather, a gather of Allah, status. So a Allah, Mashiach here means bringing makes a really Kibbutz Galus. So Malach HaMashiach is inside the front of your face. Mashiach is nicht da. Al Pi Halacha, when is Bias of Mashiach? When you have been in Kibbutz Galus. Al Derech said, the Rebbe say, Kibbutz Galus can start from Pashtus. So was heute nicht zu tun, dort nicht mit der Rambam. Das ist nicht wie Kabetz Simcha Yisrael, was der Rambam hat geschrieben. Because that happens after Binin Beis HaMikdash. What happens after Binin Beis HaMikdash? Still Malach HaMashiach. There, the Rebbe doesn't bring the Rambam in Vayakhel and Beis.
It doesn't mean I said Kibbutz Galus.
What's the Rebbe's washing is as the Avtoch of the Vakamtseinu Yachad. Oh, and now the Rebbe says it was the Avtoch with Vakamtseinu Yachad, the other kind of service, Vakamtseinu has schon under him. That's the Rebbe's washing. Now let me ask you, the Rambam says Mashiach is the Kabetz Nidchei Yisrael. Yeah. When do you consider it that Mashiach is the Kabetz Nidchei Yisrael? The Lashon of the Rambam is the Kibbutz Nidchei Yisrael. When now the clouds come from whatever that's standing right over here, and I sit on the cloud, and we're still here in Toronto, and or even the cloud starts to fly, you're still on Admas Toronto. The Kibbutz Galus start. Did the Haftocha of the Kabetzeinu Yachad the Kabetzeinu start? Yes, this is part of the Haftocha of Kibbutz Galus. Could you say the Kibbutz Nidchei Yisrael hat sich schon aufgetan geworden? No. When is the Kibbutz Nidchei Yisrael? Not when you start to go to Eretz Yisrael, or when you're on your clouds on the way to Eretz Yisrael. After that, you're already in Eretz Yisrael, and if you do Ba'is and Shmit and V'yayim, it's the whole point. The Rambam says Mashiach.
So
the whole.
One
second. Even when Malach HaMashiach is Makabetz Nidchei Yisrael, even when he's Makabetz Nidchei, imagine that would you see coming and taking back into the other, putting people on the legs with the tree and sending them to Eretz Yisrael. You don't Al Pi Halacha, it's not considered the Kibbutz Nidchei Yisrael till you have Kol Yisrael or enough Yidden to be Mekayim Shmit again. It's not considered. The Rebbe says what's Kibbutz Galus, the Oisin Shmit and Yevus. That's what the Rambam says. So Mitzad the Ma'isa of Malach HaMashiach being Mekabetz Nidchei Yisrael, you could have it. You could have the Haftocha. It could be that the Haftocha where it says like I'm saying with Achad When the Eibishter said it in Ovi, he was picturing Tavshinun. But that's not the Kabbat Zitche Yisrael, the Rabbat Geschrieben, and nicht das ist the Kabbat Zitche Yisrael, was the Rabbat Geschrieben given 1,000 times. So that's it. Because they were saying, the Kibbutz Zitche Yisrael, was taking the Rambam on Shon Ongeheim. Says the Rebbe doesn't Zitche Ongeheim. That's after Bidin Beis HaMikdash. That's Lumad HaMashiach. So it's two separate things. You can have it. You can have some the Metzias or Olam happening, but it's not considered a Pi Halacha that this thing happened. It didn't happen. And then the Rebbe says, gerät an so viel Mal, man darf das nicht einmal heilig, man darf an Apostel zu move, gebut ich mit dir an der Senu, es ist man kann, man kann mit dem Zbar Baruch, kann man kommen. Und es darf geht through Malach am Mashiach, und darf noch binnen bei Samiglish. This is a tough shit, when did Rebbe say it? But Yaakov and Beis is not a skin. The Rebbe says, Kibbutz Galus stuff, but that's not the Kabbat Zitche. So the Rambam is the key base. I gave you a good one. You're flying on the cloud and you're on the way. Did the Haftarah start? Did the Haftarah start or not? When is this Haftarah start? When someone says in a war, you're not going to go to Eretz Yisrael. When does this war start to be recorded?
Maybe that's
When does it start? When does it start? It starts when you're on your way to go. It doesn't. When could you say the Kibbutz Zitche Yisrael? The whole point of the Rambam saying the Shir is Mekabel Zitche Yisrael. There's only one point. The Rambam is here. Is the Rebbe says he's not telling you of Tocheres. He's not telling you. He's telling you what's the gather of Mashiach of Yalach, and that is the new Shlem Satayim. The Rambam says it clearly. The Kibbutz Zitche Yisrael is in Shmikim Rebes. Till you have Eis in Shmikim Rebes, Mitos is the Kibbutz Zitche Yisrael as the Rambam Yeshiva. And even if when he's leading up to it, even when he's bringing in that it's Yisrael, calls man cannot be a kind Shmikim Rebes. Calls man you don't have Shlem Satayim Mitzvahs. That's not Kibbutz Galus. It's Kibbutz Galus b'Maisa. But that's not. The Sheikh is here from Yiralav Nissen Tovshin, Yiralav Nissen Tovshin Samach Beis. Do you say Bia Samach Sheikh happened already? Bia Samach Sheikh is after we Kibbutz Zitche Yisrael. But b'Maisa, you can have Kibbutz Galus. Al Pi Halacha, it's not Kibbutz Galus. The Rebbe didn't say the Psag Din from the Rambam as Malach HaMashiach, but the Kabbat Zitche Yisrael that's Shon Ongeheim. The Rebbe didn't say that. The Rebbe said the Haftarah. As I can say, the Yaakov doesn't Shon Ongeheim in the Pashtus. It's two separate things. You see, and that's in the Muggah, in the built-in Muggah. So this is there it says I'm not a no not a Achon, and there doesn't ever use these in the Muggah. It's not a full set; it's only the Rad. But there it says Kibbutz Galus, no connection to Mashiach, no connection to Geula, no connection to anything. Kibbutz Galus, you can have Kibbutz Galus happened 1,000 years ago also. That's something that's not.
so it's only Rad, the Yaakov is only
Rad,
Rad.
yeah.
And if there's Shalom in the Rad, it's Shalom
No. The Rebbe just says, Yeshne Kvara Yaakov of Parashtus, Kibbutz Galus, the Bnei Yisrael, the Kol She'elu Eretz Yisrael. Like you can even touch it on. It's like the Rebbe doesn't touch it connected to the Geula, to Schal to the Geula, to Gordish, the Malacham. The Rebbe saying it can even be Schal to the Kibbutz Galus Hashem HaMushal. You know what I'm saying? Not Hashem HaMushal, but it can be. The Rebbe saying let's see so what you have. You did not go into okay. Mashiach now. We should see. Bring it like Samidash, Kibbutz Galus with the Rebbe. Take him the Ad Mamish.
Was talking about it.
Was Levi's Alten left in?
Huh?
What was Levi's Alten?
I have no idea.
He left, but wasn't going to start.
Yeah, no, verstehe.
Oh wow, I smoked for so long, I didn't realize. Okay, well listen, I wrote to the Rebbe, and I got it like I was shocked. The Rebbe says, the Rebbe,
I heard this.
listen, it's better like that, I spoke later, because no one would sit here, I would say it's a hell of a no, I wouldn't be able.
This guy here, that is not